Yo, Dragon Ballers, real quick, I need to let you guys know about two events that are coming up soon, being hosted by PPG. All the info will be down in the description, but we have the Dragon Ball Super Card Game Fest from March 26th to the 27th. This is going to be the first ever event where they are trying out the sideboarded best-of-one format. Besides that, it'll just be a celebration of the Dragon Ball Super Card Game, so you're not going to want to miss it. The other one is for organized play through the Pro Play Tour. We have the regional qualifier April 2nd in Kentucky, shots to the Midwest, so you're definitely not going to want to miss that. Shout out to PPG because they run awesome tournaments, but also besides that, this is the thing I've been concerned about in the past where these tournaments just don't get enough advertisement. So shout out to PPG for doing more and putting in more work to advertise these events. I hope to see you guys there. Let's get back into the video. Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another IRL deck profile. Today I'm sharing with you guys an updated list for Red King Piccolo. Now the main reason I'm playing this is one, because I'm actually really looking forward to playing U7 Goku, which is also a red deck, but set 16 is not out yet, so I just want to kind of get a jump start on playing red. And King Piccolo is still really good, which I think a lot of people were caught by surprise on. I was definitely very surprised during that season when we saw King Piccolo doing so well, because even though it was hit on the ban list in several ways, the deck still has access to a lot of free play, which is something that Bandai definitely tried to address on more recent ban lists, but King Piccolo still has access to a lot of it, so that's what makes it still really strong. So we'll be going over the list in today's video. I'll also, towards the end of the video, go over some side deck options for you guys. This is a deck that I'm taking to locals, so I have some ideas for my side deck. But yeah, if you guys are new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a video. And if you guys want to help support the channel, many ways to do so down in the description. But if you guys want to pick up any of the cards for this deck, or any trading cards for that matter, use my link in the description to TCG Player. Really does help out a lot. Anyways, let's get into this, starting with the leader. So permanent starting at 6 life. If you guys don't really know how King Piccolo runs, this is why everyone thought this leader would be bad, but man, were we all wrong. Attack, when you attack, you can put a Demon Clan or Namekian into your life face up, then take a life, and then your awakened condition when you're at 2 or less life, or you have 2 face up Demon Clans or Namekians, you can flip over. And on the back side is where this guy gets absolutely insane. You'll usually flip by turn 2, so you're going to be on this side most of the time. Attack, you can put 3 Namekians or Demon Clans into your life and then take 3 life, so you can basically fix your life for your activate battle once per turn during both players' turns. You can combo with a Demon Clan or Namekian from your life, and that's going to proc a lot of your effects in the deck to be played for free. So that's where a lot of your free play and a lot of your power comes from. But anyways, going into the main board here, we are playing 4 copies of the Piccolo Jr. Unison. This is one of the core cards of the deck. You absolutely need to play it because Piccolo doesn't inherently draw as a leader. He does gain advantages in other ways, which is really good. But with this Unison just acting as your, once per turn draw as a normal leader would, this keeps your hand nice and healthy. And I was thinking about playing other Unisons, like possibly the Mass Sand 2-drop red Unison, which is basically a worse version of Piccolo. All it does really is draw a card. But we don't really need it in this deck. This is a 50 card list, so it is rather consistent. And we do play ways to search this out, which is nice. So 4 of that is all I've needed so far. But of course, this list is very much subject to change. Anyways, we have 1 copy of Drum Reign of Terror. It's all we're allowed to play. This card was one that definitely felt better with more copies of it, because spamming it felt kind of absurd. Having several barrier blockers felt really strong, but only having the 1 makes it feel a lot worse, as obviously was intended, but something I noticed. Then we have 4 copies of Symbol. This helps us keep up draw, as well as just being a free 15k attacker, and that's kind of the main shtick of this deck, is getting out free bodies, as well as Tambourine. So this guy's really cool. It used to be that Drum was like the main guy you wanted to play off of your leader effect and whatnot, but now that we have Symbol being at 4 while Drum's at 1, this is our main way of applying pressure. He attacks, gains 5k, goes back to active mode. There's a way to even buff him up to 40k in this deck so he can attack for real big numbers. So yeah, the focus used to be more on Drum, but now Tambourine definitely acts as the MVP, whether you want to clear battle cards, whether you want to attack Unisons, or just, put pressure onto your opponent. And we are playing red, right? Red is definitely thought to be more of an aggressive color, and Tambourine can help us do that, but you guys know me. This is a mid-range deck, and King Piccolo has kind of just always been that way. Anyways, then we have 4 copies of Piano, another card that helps you keep up your draws. Also has a nifty protection effect, but with decks like Gogeta Zeo in the format, and even blue decks that can put them back to your hand or bounce them to the bottom of the deck, that doesn't come up all the time, but still super solid card. You definitely want to start most games with this, especially if you have a Demon Clan in your hand ready to go. But we are also playing 4 copies of King Piccolo Dragon Ball Obsession. So this is your very typical archetype searcher. Pay 1 energy, play it, look at top 5. You can add a 2-cost Unison, or you can add a Demon Clan or Namekian to your hand. Some King Piccolo lists back in the day played this card, some didn't. It wasn't absolutely necessary, but now with Drum being limited, we want to make sure we have enough names for our leader's various effects. So playing this is nice, and it always does feel good to have a turn 1 play that can find your unison if you don't happen to open with your unison. And we're also playing 3 copies of King Piccolo Time to Fight. So this can evolve right over this Piccolo for 1, which is awesome, and then it can search directly from your deck pretty much all your Namekians and Demon Clans, and then it can also boost Tambourine up by 20k, which is how you're gonna get those 40k attacks off. So this card, again, seems more important in the deck now than it used to because it searches those names and searches those unisons, which is really, really solid. And then we're playing 2 copies of King Piccolo Step to Revival. So this is a card that I've always liked. I know, I wouldn't say most, but not a lot of lists play this card. I really like it, especially in this format where a lot of decks are either mid-rangey or control-y. They're not always going to give you life when you want them to, so having a way to do that proactively in this deck is really good. 2 copies fits perfectly. You can always search it if you need to. But yeah, this helps you be aggressive, helps you get on a lower life, which is important for your super combos. So I actually really like this as a 2-of in the deck. I could see maybe siding a 3rd if, you know, opponents are just really, really passive and not giving you cards, but 2 has been good in the past. I'm sure it'll be good now. Then we have 3 copies of Piccolo Jr. King's Scion. So only 3, just like back in the day, because it is a card you can only use once per turn. You can only have 1 in play thanks to Unique. So it is a little bit awkward to see a ton of copies. And now that we have Testing the Opposition, which is another card I play, you'll see later, they serve a similar role in that they can both help protect your unison. So having 6 total copies of a card that helps protect your unison, and that, you know, with the combination of both those cards, you can use them one after the other. That is really, really nice. So 3 feels appropriate on this. Then we're playing 3 copies of Yamcha Counterplay. Main reason we're playing 3 is because this is one of those formats where Yamcha doesn't feel super broken. Like if you guys played during the recent Reboot Mecha format, this card felt absolutely absurd, so playing 4 felt really good. This format, it's still solid, but like it's not always going to be an MVP in all matchups. We can always side into a 4th one if we need, but also we do play a somewhat vulnerable unison if we don't see the correct cards to defend our unison, so 3 of this feels pretty good for now. Don't want to get stuck with too many dead copies in hand if we can't protect our unison. We're playing the 1 King Piccolo New Ruler. It's all we can play. Of course, one of our additional, you know, pressure-adding win conditions. This is not like a boss monster-oriented deck. This is very much the deck that puts a lot of bodies onto the board rather quickly and goes from there. And then we're playing 3 copies of Goku Divine Presence. Okay, so this card came out, and funnily enough, it seems better in King Piccolo than it does in its own archetypes. Like, Starter Vegeta can't really play it all that well because Starter Vegeta doesn't really care about comboing. It doesn't benefit you from comboing. U7 Gohan can play it well, but honestly, King Piccolo as a deck is just way better than U7 Gohan. And the new U7 Goku deck can use this pretty well because you do get a lot of free value off of some of your effects. But yeah, funnily enough, I'm only playing 3 copies because 1, we're not playing this turn 1, 2, or possibly even turn 3 a lot of times. So we don't really need a full play set, but my teammates have been telling me that they've been playing King Piccolo and that this card's actually been underperforming like crazy. I kind of can't see how that would be, honestly, but of course I'm always going to take their word for things. I'm lucky enough to be around a lot of the best players in the game. So I'm still going to try it out at 3, and I'm going to see for myself if it works out, if it doesn't. But because that's what I was told, I want to let you guys know so that you guys can also keep an eye on that if you end up playing this deck. We are playing the 1 Champa. I'd like to play 2 because we are a red deck. We can always charge the extra copy if we want, but I did want to keep this pretty consistent because I do want to see my unison on as many turn 2s as possible. And the 1 feels okay. We do have a fair amount of inherent double strike in the deck, so that feels okay. Then I'm playing 2 copies of Broly Crown of Retribution. Just the best red card right now, honestly. The best generic red card. I could very much see playing 3 in the main, but I think 2 in the main and 1 on the side is probably good enough. But that could definitely be something you could change about it if you really like this card and want to play 3. Playing 4 copies of Raditz Super Combo. I go back and forth in this all the time. This could be Raditz or the Piccolo Super Combo. The Piccolo Super Combo gives you more names for your leader to put into your life and get Awakened, which is awesome. But I think in this deck, we're playing somewhere near 25 copies of Namekians and Demon Clans, so half your deck is valid for this. So I think Raditz is fine. And again, like, making sure you can get down to low life to make this active is going to help you filter through your deck, see your most broken cards. It's going to be really strong. And another card that's going to help us get down there, especially if our unison's getting focused, is Testing the Opposition. This card and this leader, just like, oh man, this is an incredible match because we start at 6 life already. Odds are we're going to take 1 damage just naturally from our opponent, or even with the King Piccolo promo earlier. And then Testing the Op is amazing for protecting our unison. It's also really good for, again, getting us lower in life so that our super combo is live. And then for the last extra card in the deck, we're playing 2 copies of Violent Rays. I really think Violent Rays is going to be strong next format. I do really think so. Gogeta Xeno, U7 Goku, like just all these different decks, like most things attacking aren't going to be 15Ks. They're going to mostly be 20Ks or higher. There are some like random 19Ks like Basil, some of the U7 Goku cards, but still I think this card picks up so much value. And even against Unisons as well, against 3-drop Trunks Yellow Unison, against 4-drop Boo Unison, I think this card's really good next format. And then for black, we're just playing 2 cards. We're playing Secret Enemy Masked Saiyan, our 1 overall, make sure we can keep boards clear when we need to. And then the 1 Pan SCR, this deck can flood a board very well, so Pan makes sense, plus we can just stop any crazy aggression. This deck is very good at stopping small attacks, which I just got done talking about. There's not too many 15K attacks, but if you think about it this way, you can basically block your opponent's leader attack every single turn for free, as long as you have a Namekian or Demon Clan in your life, which is super crazy. And then if your opponent's just getting too out of hand, Pan just stops that. I do think Pan is probably the best SCR for this deck, but Kai can be solid. Maybe Heroine's Lineage if you're more on a budget. If you are on a budget, I think this deck is actually going to be very cheap if you were to play Heroine's Lineage over Pan. Yeah, looking through quickly, I don't see anything else that's like crazy expensive. Piccolo Jr. Unison might be $10 a copy, but honestly, that might just be the most you're spending on this deck in general. Shout out to the Violent Rays reprint, because that should help with the price a lot too. But anyways, let's go over side deck ideas. So a card I've been toying with even in the main is King Piccolo Evil Dictator. This is a card that can come out for 1 if you have a total powers worth of 40k of Demon Clans, which Tambourine can get to by himself, so that's kind of nice. He does have Deflect, which is solid, and then he swings twice, and if he dies, you can play a Piccolo Jr. from your life, so you'd have to set up a Scion there. But yeah, I'm not 100% sold on this card yet, because I don't think we're going to have too much of a problem with blue, although it could be worse. It could be a bad blue matchup. I got to test it more. But the main reason I don't love this card is because of yellow. Like, whether you're playing in Sin, this is not a super strong card against Sin if you're not able to clear their 9-drop. And then against yellow in general, they could still play Steadfast Goku and just block the attack because you didn't really do anything to actually remove it, unless you have your Piccolo Unison to play. But again, you don't want to... You can't always plan for that accordingly. Right? You want the cards to be solid on their own more often than not. So, but still, I think it is a good card, definitely worth considering. 2 Frieza Death Ball. So the main reason I am very much sold on this card is because my teammate Justin Rios, I think it was the PPG Invitational where King Piccolo came out, or maybe it had been out for a little while. But yeah, he sided into this card, and the way he explained it was this card allowed him to be much more aggressive because for 1 energy, you were basically comboing 25k. So that was really good. And I do think this card has very good utility, or you know, just outside of that, but still solid. Definitely considering Topo. Just want to make sure we have it for those aggro matchups. It is decent against Gogeta Xeno, more so like in the early turns, but of course they play Super Kamehameha, so you got to be very careful about using Topo. You don't want to lose out too much. You don't want to pay 2 energy and pitch 2 cards just to get counterplayed, but there's still definitely scenarios where it can be solid. Corin Tower Secret Medicine, another card I'm considering because, like I mentioned before, a lot of things are attacking much bigger, like 20k and higher, so giving our leader a Sensu Bean and then having to combo less seems very nice. But also, this kills BMS, which could be a big problem for our deck. We are a red deck, and we do have some ways to kill things, but like, especially with Drum at 1, there are far less ways to kill Black Mass Saiyan, so I want to make sure we have some outs to that. Then we're playing 2 copies of Concentrated Destruction Goku, just for our general barrier hate, like the Slug Engine, for example, but just a good card to have in your side deck when you're playing red. Definitely considering Raditz the Oppressor, because I do expect Soul Striker to be pretty popular, so might want to consider sideboarding the hate to that, which is really nice. And also, this indirectly hits Golden Frieza, so that's just a plus there. I do think a lot of people are talking about that deck as well. This is not so much a sideboard card, but a card I'm considering in general, and that's Attack of the Demon Clan. I'm thinking about this card because I just want to make sure that I always have enough ways to put Demon Clans in play, access to Drum when I want it. This card I could see possibly trying out in the main deck, but it's not been like a historically popular card in King Piccolo, and it just hasn't really been needed. This does for 1 basically what all your other cards do for free, but the nice thing is it does grab it right from the deck, so that is a big consideration there. I'm gonna have to play around with some more, but right now this is a card I'm just thinking about for the main, if anything. But anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Let me in the comments below what you think about the profile. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Yo, Dragon Ballers, just want to say thank you guys so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind dropping a like or subscribing, really does help me out, and this way you guys can support Danny. He can finally eat something.
I haven't eaten in days!